Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the one and only podcast, You Talk a Lot. So, guys, I think we should briefly bring up my last episode, which obviously sparked a lot of controversy, and I was considering taking it down just because it wasn't meant to do all that. I kind of just wanted to express my opinion and I don't know, maybe help other people see maybe a different perspective, but it obviously angered a lot of people, especially men. And that is actually where I received my first ever hate comments. And guys, I will say, it was a big moment for me. I actually filmed a little video on my Snapchat just to kind of remember the moment when I look back, because it's a big moment. I've never really been outright hated before in my life, and called pathetic. So it was a nice experience, and maybe that's not the reaction they were hoping for, but it's the reaction you get. Anyways, today I was thinking just to kind of dial it back a little, because I was thinking, I was should I remove the video, because I am still maybe I'm too naive and young to be speaking about this or whatever, but then I was no, the point is to have opinions and to defend women's rights, because that is what I stand for. And yeah, it's difficult doing this, and yeah, it's definitely terrifying, and yeah, a lot of people in my life probably disagree with what I'm doing, but it's important to me, and I think it's important to the world if obviously more people were to see it, but for now it's important to the little community I've built with all of us. So anyways, but yeah, today I've kind of been wanting to talk about relationships, and by that I mean not all relationships is what I mean by that. You know what I mean? But I think I've been thinking a lot about this recently. I've been kind of just thinking about what is the meaning of love? You know what I mean? I think I don't know why. I've just never really been, and I guess no one can explain or describe the feeling, but I'm just how do I know if I love someone? Which sounds so insane, kind of. And by that I mean how do you know? Everyone is you love your family, right? You love your family, and it's unconditional, indescribable love, right? But how do you know you what is it that means that you love them? Is it because you would be willing to sacrifice yourself for them, or immediately donate a kidney or whatever they need? Is that what love is? Or is it something else? Because it's is it, and not, and I don't mean this in a bad way, and I don't mean this in a way that do you know if you love your family? Because obviously I love my family, but I'm how do I know? What is it? I've been thinking about that in a way, because I'm what exactly does that mean? We're told, oh, of course you love your family and your family loves you, but does it mean you're willing to die for them, or is it something else? And I've been really pondering that lately, because I've just realized I'm we say a love for your family is just something that's always there, but it's how do you know it's there, and what does that even mean? And I don't know if I'm making any sense at all, but it's just been kind of on my mind lately, and I'm just wondering what exactly it is to love, and how you know that you love someone. Because for someone like me, I don't use the word love very sporadically, like how a lot of people do. I don't give it so freely. I feel like I don't, and no one obviously like notices because it's not like something that I'm like a vocal about or something that like is that big of a deal. But I don't like comment I love you on like everyone's posts on Instagram and stuff, even though a lot of people do, because for me, I want to mean it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to just comment that on every single girl I follow's post because it holds a meaning to me. And I know, like, it doesn't really matter. And whether I say it or don't, like, is not going to, like, affect anyone's life. And I know if I say I love you, like, no one's going to actually think that I, like, actually love them. But I want it to mean that. So if I comment on, like, my best friend's post, I love you, like, it's because I actually do love you. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's necessarily like a problem. I just think that the whole like easiness to say I love you to people nowadays has kind of made it lose its meaning a little. And I'm not like saying that to offend or like criticize people who like say I love you to like everyone, because you know it's like it's sweet and it's not like a problem. It's just I feel for me personally I've always wanted it to mean something, because I just feel like the word love has such a big strong sense in my life that I feel like for me personally I don't want to just kind of use it. You know, I want to mean it. So yeah, I don't know. I've been like, I remember when I first got like TikTok and stuff, like I would only like people's videos if I like actually like them. And then I have kind of like moved on from that, and now I like pretty much like everything I see, because then I also realized, you know, it's important to show people that you care and not be like, because I could think it can be perceived as like you're hating, you know what I mean? And I think, and that's also another thing. Let's talk about that. I think the way to navigate yourself online and like social media and stuff especially is so like difficult for young people, at least for like me it was, I think, because it's so fun. Like I look back at like messages and stuff that like I used to text my friends, and I was like, oh my god, I look like a bitch. Like I was like, I literally sound so rude, but I obviously know like I never meant it in that way. But like I used to text, I remember some guy told me once, he was like, you text so dry, and I was like I didn't even know what that meant. and then like I think that honestly I'm glad like I was told that, because I definitely like after like becoming aware of it, then you know I tried to like make sure that I use a couple Y's when I'm saying hey, or a couple I's, you know, just to kind of like show people that, you know, I'm not trying to be mean. But like I used to use K like all the time, and I didn't mean anything by it, but I didn't realize that it was so like you don't say K if you're like being happy, you know what I mean? And I think that that's something that's so like unspoken about, and I don't know if anyone else really has experienced this, but it's just funny to me because like I realize, I think for me as well, I'm a very independent person, and I'm, you know, I like my space and I like my alone time and I like doing things. I obviously have so many hobbies, so I can spend a lot of time with myself and be completely satisfied. But I think to a lot of people, especially when I was young and I didn't really know how to also put in that extra effort so people know that they're loved and appreciated by me, I think I had lost a lot of like, not even lost friendships, but kind of just like grown distant, especially when I moved. I feel like I lost, or like kind of grew apart from a lot of people because I didn't know how to stay in touch, sort of thing, because I was only like I think 11 or something, which, and like if in person I would like to think that I was, you know, nicer seeming. I obviously don't remember and I have nothing to prove on that and like look back on that. But after reading like messages and stuff, I'm like, oh, no wonder like they kind of stopped, because like I wasn't texting first, I wasn't like doing that, and it was never like intentional. Like it wasn't like I was trying to ego anybody or like whatever. But I think I had just, no one had told me, no one had taught me that you need to do that, or like taught me how to navigate that, because I was just a kid, you know what I mean? But yeah, and I just realized I like looked so disinterested, and I was like feeling like so bad for the people, one, that I was texting, and two, like mad at myself, because I was like, wow, like look at what you did to yourself, you know what I mean? And I had no idea. But I think like maybe a lot of people also didn't even take it badly, because maybe everybody else texted that way, but I don't know how they took it, you know what I mean? And that's something I will never know, and that's something I'm gonna have to live with. But I just think that that's just something interesting I noticed, because I had never really realized that until late in life, as if I'm like not young, but like I didn't really know how to do all that. And I think that that's something so important, and that's something that obviously had a big impact on a lot of people and a lot of the relationships in my life. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to mention that, just to see if like anyone else did that, because I think in like the age of technology or whatever, it's so like everyone, like I've grown up obviously with a lot of technology. Like when I was a young kid, yeah, there wasn't really much, but a lot of people started getting phones at like 11, 12, you know what I mean? So then that's how everyone communicates and whatever. Or, we all had iPads. So either ways, like a lot of communication nowadays happens online. So you need to now know how to properly navigate that, which is a whole nother thing than in person, you know what I mean? The right emojis to use, and what to say and what not to say, and how to like make yourself sound like how you would in person. That's one thing I hate about texting. That's why I honestly prefer like calling people, because I need people to see my expressions a lot of the times, and sometimes there aren't emojis for the expression I'm making. And also I feel like my tone and stuff, and that's the thing, like tone is so difficult to convey over text, and it's so easy to convey it the wrong way. So that's just something that I guess I hadn't ever really realized how important it is in this day and age, but something to consider. That's what I mean by this episode. Like I didn't mean just relationships like romantically, because I mean I have never really experienced love in that way, and that's okay. Like seriously, I mean, I think that's also the other thing. I have never really been one for casual dating. And again, like when I say this, I don't want people to take any of what I'm saying like personally or like a personal attack, because this is all just like my own personal preferences and who I am as a person. And I think also, oh my God, after reading my birth chart, I realized how, oh my God, guys, if I tell you to do one thing ever in your life, it's read your birth chart, because it had me down to a T. I was like in shock. And that's why people say like don't share it online and stuff, because it's so personal to you. And it literally was exactly who I am in every shape and form. It was like my entire personality, everything I've ever wanted in life, like my entire like hopes and dreams. And I was like trying to like use it to figure out like what my future is, because your girl has no direction, which we can talk about that in another episode, because I hope there are people like me, and I think we could build a community on that, because, well, college is coming soon and applying to that and all of that, and that's already so much stress for me. So it would be nice to get some tips and tricks from other people too. So let me know if you guys want an episode on that. But anyways, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, my birth chart. So, and that was insane. And basically I asked it, I was like, so what about like, I mean, I didn't ask you, but like I was like looking like romantically as well, I was like, might as well, let's just see. And basically it like told me that I'm meant to have like a serious relation. Like I'm not meant for, like flings and stuff, which I think I knew that deep down, because I think it's just like fun, like it sounds fun to do, because you're bored. I've been bored all summer, clearly. And it sounds fun in theory. And for a lot of people it probably like is fun, but I think for someone like me, I it's not easy for me to trust people like that. So I think I would need, if I were to get to that level, it would need to be serious for me to fully let my guard down with another person in a lot of ways and stuff. So I think that that's just something I've noticed. And I personally, oh my God, this is something that I've always been very strong on, but I will not do a talking stage. I just can't. It's so pointless to me. That's the thing I hate about our current generation. I hate that we're gonna forever be like in like Snapchat, Instagram, online dating and stuff, because I wish we didn't do that. Like, I wish things could be organic. I don't want to meet a guy online for the first time. Like, I don't want him to slide in my DMs and then we talk and then eventually we like, no, I want to meet you in person. Run into me in a superstore. You know what I mean? Please bump into me. Like, you know what I mean? This is how you know I've also watched way too many rom-coms. I love rom-coms, and I think that's also probably the reason why I have never had a boyfriend, because I mean, my standards have always, I think, been high, but I think they get higher with every rom-com I watch. I've seen pretty much every 2000s rom-com ever, and I've also seen a lot of like the new ones, like right now. I will say Voicemails to Isabel and People We Meet on Vacation. Those are two rom-coms that I recommend for you guys, because they're very much like early 2000s rom-coms. They have the same kind of like vibe. I do wish that they use the same cameras. I wish that's like my biggest thing in shows. And it honestly has like almost made me want to become a director just for this exact reason, because if I was a director, I would stick with the same camera from the first season till the end, even if like there are better cameras that come out and stuff, because like the first few seasons of Gilmore Girls or One Tree Hill or whatever, like the vibe and the like coziness and the like warmth that is captured in like those older cameras that like the quality is slightly worse, it just looks so much better and it's just so much more comforting. And then they get like the bright, like Netflix vivid, like 4K Ultra HD cameras, and I'm like, I don't want to see that. Like, I don't really need to see every hair follicle on their head. Like, I will live, you know what I mean? Like, I don't need to see it all up close, so I'm okay if you guys use a worse camera. But yeah, anyways, went way off topic. I just feel really strongly about that. But I think that, yeah, I've seen so many rom-coms. I'll name a few of my favorites so you guys have some ideas. I love 10 Things I Hate About You. That's like probably one of my favorite movies ever. The Proposal. 27 Dresses. Oh my God, I'm like blanking now. Oh my God, Serendipity. Okay, I like that movie because it's so like, again, cozy and stuff, but stressed me out and it low-key made me mad. I was so mad I forgot her name. I think her name's Sarah or something. So mad at her the entire time because I was like, what are you doing? I was like, why are you doing the most? Like, just give him your number. But anyways, that, and then I love like funny-ish movies too, like Life as We Know It, right? The one with Katherine Heigl and that other guy. And like newer ones, Always Be My Maybe, that one's good. Crazy Rich Asians, but those are like more comedy and those are also newer. But like older ones, I like can't How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, obviously. Confessions of a Shopaholic, that is so good. I love that movie. And the one with the other one, what's it, with Hugh Grant and Sandra Bullock. That movie, I forgot what it's called, but that one's really good. Oh, and then yeah, Notting Hill, The Notebook, The Holiday, and then there's so many. Anyways, that's not the point. But yeah, so I love rom-coms and I'm obviously a fanatic, and I have probably yet to see a lot of more niche ones, I guess. But those are like the most famous ones that I've watched. I can't remember. Oh, Twilight. Hello. Guys, I'm gonna give you a sneak peek into my senior backpack. Are you guys ready? Because also, yeah, by the way, I know you guys may have noticed that we keep switching locations because I'm trying to figure out which one's the best. So let me know which one's your favorite. But guys, I'm gonna show you my senior backpack. You guys are the first to see because I want to do a grand reveal right before school. Are you kidding me? Guys, I have like 8 Twilight shirts. This is the best senior bag I could ever ask for. I saw it and I saw like I came up with the idea and I was like, wait, let's see if this even exists. And I was like, thank God. I'm so excited for this. But back to what I'm saying. God, this is what I mean. This is exactly why I named my podcast this. But anyways, yeah. So because of that, I wouldn't say like unrealistic standards. I think it's also seen as unrealistic because people don't do as much anymore. Like, I feel like the bar has kind of really dropped to the floor lately, especially in a lot of like, more traditional families and stuff. Like that's one thing I've kind of always been clear about with my parents, and and coming from like my culture and stuff, that's not like something that a lot of people would be okay with. I mean, obviously I don't know how okay they are with it because they say they are, but also hasn't really gotten to that point yet. But I don't ever really want an arranged marriage. I just don't see the point because I'm not like dying to get married. You know what I mean? And I want to marry someone for love. And I know everyone says that and everyone's like, oh yeah, everyone obviously wants that, but everyone can't have it. And I get it, but I just don't really see the point. I'm like, I don't want to spend my life with someone so I can just have babies. That's the only reason really that, people are expected to get married is so they reproduce, because other than that, and it's like, and I think for the kind of person I am, I truly need someone who understands me on every level, and I don't want to settle for less. And I obviously hope that I'll find it, but I don't know. I mean, that's one thing though that I am happy, like my parents have never been like, get married really early. They want me to have an education, a career and stuff, and be able to live my own life. And then when I'm ready, obviously they also don't want me to go too late, but they have been really accepting over that, so that's been nice. I mean, my parents aren't that traditional, obviously, but in some ways of course they are, and I can respect that. But what I was saying was, yeah, so I cannot do a talking stage just because I know people who have been like in talking stages for like almost a year, and I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, please. I'm like, girl, get up. Come on. You deserve better than this. Seriously. If like a man is not ready to commit to you, but he wants to just talk to you, he's not the man for you, babe. Because if he wanted to, he would. That is something, guys, and I say this to myself all the time, and it is so important and the reason that I like believe in it is because it has happened to me before in some ways, you know what I mean, where I'm not gonna get into details, but like where like I was gonna kind of sacrifice something or whatever, and someone ended up doing it for me, like going out of their way for me, and I was like, and then that's why I'm like, I don't want to follow a guy first, because if he was into you, he would do it. You know what I mean? If he liked you, he would text you first because he would literally want to text you so badly he would go out of his way, or he would talk to you first, or he would, ask you out. You know what I mean? And I don't like think, if you want to ask a guy out, like go for it. You know what I mean? It's just like me personally. In that way, I think, and maybe it's the rom-coms, but in that way, I don't want to ask a guy out first. And it's not that I can't, but I just don't want to, And that's also the other thing. That's like one of the biggest misconceptions about feminism. It's like people are like, oh, well, you can't be a feminist, but then also expect a guy to be like chivalrous, And I'm like, yes, you can. It's not like no one is saying I can't open my own door, but I mean, it wouldn't hurt for you to open the door. Like, it would be nice, you know what I mean? And it goes both ways, obviously. I'm like, yeah. And then of course, like, I would, do like my own due diligence. Like, it's not like I'm gonna like treat you as like my like do whatever I want sort of thing, you know what I mean? But like, a guy can still treat a woman nicely and she can still be a feminist, And I think there aren't that many men out there like that who understand that, but it's nice. Every girl deserves to feel like a princess, I think. And maybe that's why I haven't gotten to it. But, I hope if anyone, gets a little insight from my opinion. I feel like people who have never experienced relationships are the best at giving advice because I think they have no emotional ties into the situation, that they can look at it from a clear analytical mind. But yeah, don't do a talking stage for so long. And it's okay, and that's also what I mean. I get like talking for a little to get to know the other person. I'm not expecting you to like ask me out on a date at our first encounter. You know what I mean? But like for a bit. And it also has to be clear that like we're just getting to know each other, but like the end goal is obviously something. You know what I mean? Because I'm just like, then otherwise like we're just wasting our time. Then we're just friends, or like friends with benefits. Like it's just like why? You know what I mean? It's like, just commit. Like, yeah, of course it's scary, but then like what's the point? Like what did Penn Badgley say? Is it ever casual? You guys tell me. Is it? Just repeat, like, if he wanted to, he would. And that's something that I think a lot of people should just consider, you know what I mean, in life. But then that, and then also, in friendships, I think it's the same way. I think in high school, in school even, it's difficult, friendship-wise, to meet your people because it's so, for example, my high school, it's been the exact same people since my middle school, and I've only been here for I haven't even been here for that long, but it's a very small pool of people, and after some time, there's only so many, like, it's hard to find the exact right people for you, and I've heard in college, and I guess that makes sense because a lot of people might be like in the same major, or like, and there's just so many more people. But for example, in Canada, in the school I used to go to, it was like we would be in one class and the teachers would come to our class. So we would be with the same people all year. So naturally, you would all become like a family. Everyone would be close. Like there wouldn't be like, oh, the girls kind of like don't really talk to the boys, and like you didn't really know, you knew everyone's names. I personally, I don't know why, I knew everyone's first and last names. I remember everyone's names. I don't know why, I just always have. But but the thing is, what always happened to me is that I would like make a best friend, obviously, and I would never have another class with her again. So I'd have to make a new best friend every year, which made my life really difficult because I don't know, like I would never get my best friend of the year again in the next class. So that made my life a little difficult. But over here, it's difficult, I think, to kind of do that. And I think for probably a lot of people, I think even a lot of people who are in big friend groups or have like their best friends, it is still, and maybe they just don't talk about it, obviously, but it must still be difficult. You know what I mean? Because it's not like easy navigating high school. It is such a like vulnerable time. It's honestly kind of like a humiliation ritual. You know what I mean? Like the cafeteria and stuff. And personally, I like to sit and eat in peace. And I totally would sit alone, but like then, then it like looks like you have no friends. And I hate that. And honestly, I've kind of like started being like, okay, well, I don't really care because like I do have people to sit with, but sometimes you need your alone time, and that's not like a bad thing. I don't think. But I think there is somebody for everyone. And I mean that both romantically and friend wise. I think that there are people for everyone. And I think that everyone has someone for them. There's what, like 8 billion people in the world. There has to be someone who's perfect for you. And I have to believe that. And I think, it's nice to believe that. And I like to believe in fate, and I like to believe that, what's meant to happen will happen. You know what I mean? Life is not a task, let it come to you. So anyways, that was a lot. But this was kind of a fun topic to talk about, and I probably could talk more, but I don't want to make the episode too long. But yeah, let me know anything else I should talk about in the comments, or some questions, or if you have any questions or issues going on in your own lives that you need help trying to navigate, and I can provide whatever wisdom I have. So yeah, let me know. But that's all for tonight. Bye.